Hello everyone, welcome back to the Mystery Channel 33. I am Tatiana. I am here to help solve more missing women, children, and men cases. I'm here to break the codes if I see any. I'm here to see where their bodies are located if they know. And I'm also here to see if they are alive, deceased, body, suit, exchange, ethnicity, or misidentity. Yeah, I already should know who's involved, so let's begin. This is titled The Case That Took 44 Years to Be Solved, Arlis Perry. Arlis Perry was a 19-year-old newlywed living with her husband at Stanford University in 1974. She was murdered inside the Stanford Memorial Church. The case was unsolved for 44 years until the killer was apprehended in 2018 utilizing DNA profiling. Arlis Perry. Arlis Dicamina was born on February 22, 1955 in Linton, North Dakota. She was the youngest of three children. Her parents, Marvin and Jean, were devout Christians who wanted their children to be involved in the Presbyterian church. This is how she looks. The family relocated to Bismarck, North Dakota, the state capital. In 1963, her parents owned an auto dealership and founded the Bismarck Community Church. Arlis was regarded as trusting, joyful, and optimistic with a desire to see the best in others. She worked for a Christian youth group and taught Sunday school. Arlis' father, Marvin, stated that his daughter lived a very secluded life, never leaving Bismarck. She met Bruce Perry at Bismarck High School, where they became high school sweethearts. Bruce Perry. Bruce Perry was the second of four children, the son of a stay-at-home mother and a dentist. Arlis and Bruce were both born in the same town. Arlis was a conservative cheerleader who was the sweetest person, and Bruce was a track and field star who set numerous school records and intended to enroll at Stanford University. They had graduated from high school in 1973. Bruce attended Stanford University, a 25-hour journey away. He was a pre-med student with a major in human biology. Arlis remained in Bismarck and attended Bismarck Junior College, and the two of them kept dating. Arlis got a job at Bruce's father's dentist's office. She was still involved in her church and missions, such as teaching about Jesus to non-believers. 1974, and moved to Stanford University. Bruce returned to North Dakota in 1974 when both he and Arlis were 19 years old. He asked Arlis to marry him. They married on August 17, 1974 at the Bismarck Community Church and spent their honeymoon at a cabin owned by Arlis' parents. They relocated to Palo Alto, California in September to attend Stanford University, where they stayed in Quinlan Hall in Econdio Village, a residence hall for married couples and partners with children. Bruce was now a second-year pre-med student with a job to support himself and his wife. Arlis adored the campus. She felt it was very lovely, and she frequently went for walks and runs, as well as visited the Stanford Memorial Church. Arlis would write to her friends and relatives back home in North Dakota, saying that she was lonely and isolated and that she did not do much because Bruce was so busy with school and work. Arlis then worked as a receptionist at a nearby law firm. Then her letters to her friends and family changed. She stated she liked living in California. The weather was wonderful and she felt like everything was finally falling into place. October 12, 1974, the Stanford campus was fairly crowded on October 12th. Arlis had some letters she wanted to send to friends and family. Bruce decided to join Arlis at 11:30 p.m. so they could spend some time together, and because he didn't like the idea of her walking around by herself at night. They got into an argument about their car while walking. Arlis informed Bruce that she wanted to go to church to unwind and have some alone time, and Bruce returned to the apartment. Stephen Crawford worked as a church security guard at night. He reported seeing Arlis enter the church at 11:50 p.m. There was already two people in the church who watched Arlis walk into the church, go to a pew, and kneel to pray. She was still praying when they left. Oh, Lord. The church was meant to close at midnight, but Stephen arrived at about 12:10 a.m. He looked around the church, did not see anyone, and announced that he was locking it up. He then locked the church up when there was no response. Bruce became concerned between 12:15 and 12:30 a.m. and went to the church, which was half a mile away from their apartment. When Bruce arrived at the church, he discovered that all the doors were locked. Bruce decided to walk around campus in search of Arlis. He looked everywhere, but there was no sign of her. He returns to his apartment and waits for her, and at 3 a.m. he decides to contact the police and report his wife missing. Bruce told authorities that she may have fallen asleep in the church, so they walked to the church and checked all the locked doors, calling out to see if anyone was inside, but no one answered. I'm hearing food. At 5:45 a.m., Stephen Crawford, the nighttime security guard, returned to the church to open it for the day and discovered that one of the doors was unlocked. Police later said that the door was pushed outside from the inside. When Stephen Crawford entered the church, he discovers Arlis Perry's body in the front pews on the left side of the altar. She was naked up to her waist and laying on her back. Her jeans were slung over the bottom portion of her torso. An ice pick protruded from the left side of her head behind her ear, and the ice pick's handle was never found. I'm thinking of that movie Jack Frost. Her neck was broken, her arms were crossed over her chest, and her legs were spread open. Okay, some regarding a ritual. She was sexually assaulted with one of the 24-inch long altar candles and was still inside her when she was discovered. Okay, so they probably do an exorcism or something like that, or they thought she was an exorcism, something like that, a demon, a devil, or something like that. Her blouse was ripped open, another altar candle was pushed between her breasts, arms folded over it. Even though there was no indication of a struggle, the markings on her body suggested that she had been beaten and strangled. There was a kneeling pillow with semen on it besides her besides her body. Okay, we got it. Somebody get that. Thank you. On one of the candles, a Latin palm print was discovered. Police approached Bruce and informed him of what occurred and to interrogate him. When the cops arrived to question Bruce, they noticed that he is covered in blood. Bruce informed that he suffers from severe nosebleeds whenever he is stressed. Okay. Suspects. Police opted not to inform Bruce that his wife had been murdered. Instead, they wanted him to come down to the station, and when he did, they questioned him for 2 hours, creating various situations to elicit a reaction from him. For example, Arlis was cheating and he discovered it, or Arlis was pregnant and he was unhappy about it. They did the same thing to my daughter. They put a one of them things is they unstop the toilet with. Yeah, they thought my daughter was pregnant and they, I don't know, it was crazy. Yeah, like that. Okay, so that could be significant. So abortion or something, I don't know. Bruce voluntarily provided his fingerprints for testings and underwent a polygraph examination. He had passed the test and was no longer considered a suspect. That is when they informed him that his wife had been murdered. Stanford Chapel's dean relocated the Sunday service to the front lawn rather than inside the church. The dean had seen the crime scene before and thought it was symbolic, like a satanic ritual. True. Someone passing by the church reported seeing a man with sandy blonde hair enter the church at the same moment Arlis did. He was thought to be roughly 25 years old and was medium built. The FBI got involved and developed a profile of the murderer. They believe the killer is a loner with a military background who is between the ages of 17 and 22, and the killer collects the victim's possessions as souvenirs. Okay? Like I said, they're two different militaries now, real or fake ones. Now remember that. But we will say that to cover, not to cover it up, but just as serious. When they do that, that means that's serious, okay? Arlis was murdered after midnight, but then sexually assaulted, according to police. This might be my daughter. Stephen Crawford, the church's nighttime security guard, stated that when he arrived at 12:10 a.m. to close up the church, Arlis was most likely in the church with her killer. Someone came forward and stated that when they passed by the church between 12:15 and 12:30, they heard a strange sound coming from inside the church. And when they stopped, the noise stopped as well. When Bruce called the police to report Arlis missing, Stephen Crawford said he did a sweep of the church around 2 a.m. and police made a sweep of the outside of the church around 3 a.m. All of the street reports stated that all of the doors were locked. Crawford was considered a suspect because he failed to do his job, which was to protect the building. He passed the polygraph test and the Latin palm print found on the scene did not match. As a result, he was no longer a suspect. There was some suspicions regarding the Stanford Chapel death because he had access to the church as well. But he passed the polygraph test and there was no match to the palm print that was also discovered. The handprint was compared to over 100 suspects, but no match was found. They were able to rule out the 6 people in the church except for one, the man with sandy blonde hair, who was sighted around the church around midnight the night Arlis was murdered. Okay? And that's basically the case. You like to hear more into this case, you can. I don't do it for the fame or the money. I do because it's what I love to do. And to the real families of these victims, corporate America will set y'all up. Thank y'all. Peace and be safe.